Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this virtual conversation. Today is Earned Income Tax Awareness Day, and today launches the week of Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness. And today, throughout the day, there's thousands of events just like this throughout the nation to help spread the word about how to get people more money. Just a couple of housekeeping notes before we get started. Please feel free to use the chat feature and to ask any questions for today, whether you're on Facebook or actually joining us here in the webinar format. We're more than happy to answer questions at the end. We're really excited to have you join us for this conversation about the importance of free tax preparation and tax credits for vulnerable populations. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Lindsay Fox. I'm the CEO of United Way, Fresno and Madera counties, and it is my favorite season, tax season. I'm so honored today to be joined by California State Treasurer Fiona Ma. I love sitting down and chatting about helping Californians save money and get more money back in their pockets. Treasurer Ma is an incredible leader here in California and also happens to be the first woman of color and female CPA to serve as California State Treasurer. She has a really important job as the state's primary banker and processes $2 trillion in payments in an average year. It's incredibly great to have you here today, Fiona. How are you today, Treasurer Ma?
I'm good, Lindsay. And last year, because of all of our help from the federal government, we actually processed $3.2 trillion through my office. So very, very proud. And we didn't skip a beat. We were working every day and we still balanced to 6 decimal points.
It's an incredible time to be a Californian. And I think that that's part of the reason that I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today, because there is so much opportunity out there with the recovery dollars that from both the state and the federal government. So you've been working in this field for a long time. You've worked on social policy and now you're serving as state treasurer. Can you tell us a little bit about why you see that free tax credits and free tax preparation are so important from your purview?
Yeah, so I've been a licensed CPA in California since, 2002. So I've been working on taxes for a long time. And like you, Lindsay, tax time is one of my favorites as well, because there's a lot happening and a lot of people either don't prepare their own taxes, they don't know what to ask, kind of like when you go to the doctor, you know you're not feeling good, but you're really not sure why. And so being able to equip our people with some intelligent answers and possibilities and options, I think is really, really important. So EITC in the legislature, I was in the legislature 2006 to 2012. We put a lot more money and resources and expanded the guidelines so that more people can apply for their earned income tax credit. So at the federal level, you have an earned income tax credit, and also now in California, but you must file your taxes. And that's where a lot of people are missing out because they don't file their taxes, and they could get up to $10,000 extra. Even if you don't have to pay taxes, you need to file to get these credits back.
So we talk about EITC and Cal EITC and the Earned Income Tax Credit, and frankly, it's kind of a mouthful. So can you tell our audience a little bit more about how this even works? Because I think that sometimes you're right, people just get confused and lost in all of the words that we use to describe it when it really is kind of a simple concept.
Yeah. I haven't looked up what the dollar limits are, but basically, if you make under a certain amount of money, you can apply and you can get money back. And the more kids you have, the more money you can get back. So it's a pretty good deal. It is free money. Again, many people that don't pay or owe taxes, they don't know about this because they may go to their local, tax preparation site, their Vitus site, and they go, oh, you don't make enough to qualify to pay taxes. But this is where people need to say, but would I qualify for my tax credit, my EITC, my federal Cal EITC, my federal EITC? So people need to go and ask that question. And sometimes people, tax preparers don't know about that. So make sure you go to a free tax preparation site, free. A lot of people will say, we will prepare, your taxes, but then you get there and they suck you in and then they charge you $500 and your credit is only $500. So you're like net zero, right? So make sure you go to a free, certified, registered volunteer income tax assistant site. That is important.
I love this because you're just as excited about free tax prep as I am. And so there's a lot there that you just covered. And I want to just echo that getting your taxes done for free is really important. And, there's a lot of ways that some of these companies sort of try to get folks to either file early and say, oh, we'll give you the money up front, and then they charge you an interest on it. Or like you said, they say it's free, but then you end up spending a couple $100. And, frankly, I think that the power of these programs isn't just it's powerful in what you just described, in that low and moderate income families and households can have cash in their pocket. So you're getting a check back from California for a couple hundred or several $1,000s, as well as, and that's also from the federal government. But let's think about saving money. Let's think about keeping money in your pocket. You should not be going out and spending money on tax preparation if you are within the income qualification guidelines. I think that's so incredibly important for households to remember. For Fresno and Madera counties, we saved people over $1 million last year. And that's a lot. That's money that's right back into buying food, right? It's back into paying for education supplies, all of the things that money can be used for, if it's not used to be paid for tax preparation, right?
Exactly. So that's why United Ways are so important in California, especially during this time. Don't just walk into any place that said, we'll get you back your EITC, come on in. Go to a United Way. So thank you, Lindsay, for reminding everyone that, go to a trusted source and make sure that they're not going to charge you upfront. Ask that question, like kind of when you go to a doctor, right? Kind of have to ask certain questions.
Right. Be prepared. So, we've talked a lot about the earned income tax credit and the California earned income tax credit, and California is really ahead of just about any other state in providing this tax credit. And I think one of the interesting things about it is that it's proven to be a poverty buster, is what I've heard Governor Newsom and others call it, and the data is really it's really good data around earned income tax credit really being a way to help families really survive and maybe even do more. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But what I wanted to go to is that money is really important. But as you mentioned, California and other states have seen just an influx of dollars from the feds for the recovery and the response to COVID. And so we've been able to roll out a number of other programs and expand eligibility. And one of those groups that we've expanded eligibility to is what we call I-10 filers, not I-10, I-10. And so I know that you have some familiarity with this, and we really want to encourage people who wouldn't otherwise maybe even file their taxes to maybe get an I-10 number and file.
Exactly. The same thing, right? As long as you file your taxes and you qualify under the income tax guidelines. And that's why, you go to one of the United Way tax preps or one of the other registered ones and ask them to run your numbers for you. Do you qualify, right? And if you do, you should register, but maybe you don't qualify. So, that's really a decision for that individual.
Right.
I do want to talk.
Go ahead.
No, I do want to talk about a new program that we're going to be rolling out. The governor and the legislature have also invested and want to combat childhood poverty. So this year, we're going to be rolling out a couple of programs. And I'm glad we're talking about this because every newborn is going to have an account where we are going to put money into their account to really encourage their parents to save. So if you're getting a little bit of money back, perhaps you should put some money into your baby's account and watch that money grow over 18 years or, maybe longer. Also, 1st through 12th graders will also have money in their account, $500 in their account. If they are homeless or a foster youth, they will get another $500. So some young people will get $1,500 free money in their account. But again, it'll be managed under my office, under our Scholar Share 529 board. And it's really to encourage parents to save for their child's education, right? And that is really important. And now we expanded it to apprenticeship programs. And if the child doesn't use the money for higher education, you can use it for other student loan debt, paying back other members' student loan debt in the family. So we've really expanded this program as well.
I think that's an incredible opportunity for folks, as tax season just started. It just started 4 days ago on January 24th. And so most people probably haven't filed their taxes yet. And so if you know you're getting a return back, or if surprise, you're getting a couple $1,000s back, this is an incredible way to reinvest in really what ultimately ends up being the pathway to generational wealth is ways to save. And so what it feels like is that the state is giving a kickstart to that, so that the starting to close those gaps and deal with the equity around what is the racial wealth gap, really. So that's an incredible opportunity. And now is the time to be thinking about where you want that money to go.
Yes, and we also have a couple other savings programs that are under my office. CalAble. If you were diagnosed with a disability before the age of 26 years old, you can now save money in that person's account without jeopardizing their other health and safety benefits. You can save up to $15,000. So this is an important game changer as well, because many parents that have kids that have a disability, for decades, they were told the child cannot have any assets in their name. You cannot give them stock. You cannot give them your house. Don't save money in their account. And parents worry about their children and their future, right? And so this has been a game changer for many folks. And even during the pandemic, more people have opened up accounts and put more money into these type of savings programs. And the third one we have is Cal Savers. For any employee who is not offered a company retirement plan, now they can participate and will have to participate in our Cal Savers. And they put in a certain amount of money every month and watch that money grow for a rainy day, for their retirement. So we are really trying to encourage more savings for Californians.
Right. And I think one of the great things about Cal Savers is that it automatically comes out of your paycheck. Like you could use your tax return money to make an initial deposit, and then you could say, just take $20 out of every paycheck. And the question is, are you ever even going to miss that? And that compounding interest that many of us didn't learn about until we were maybe a few decades into our lives, that compounding interest over the course of your career is huge. And so just the ease of Cal Savers, I think, is really, really helpful to Californians. And so those are three really great programs and ways that people can think about maybe a different way to utilize your tax return, and a different way to really look at your financial well-being as it is.
Yeah, and I just did that yesterday, right? We refinanced our house, and so our mortgage payments are less. And I share a home with my dad, and my dad said, well, you're going to have $400 more in your, what do you want to do with it? And I said, you know what, I'm going to open up another account and put that money away so I do not see it, right? If it's not in your account, it's not in your ATM balance every month, you're not going to spend it. And that's what's important, is really thinking about saving deliberately.
Right. United Way has been really committed to financial stability for a long time. And we've really moved that mission to be even broader in really starting to do wealth creation. And I think that's the difference, right? Like I don't think that it's enough for Californians just to be stable. I think that we need to have these pathways to wealth creation that are really easy for people to access and walk down, and to just put that extra money away for a rainy day, or for your future, or for a home, or for education. It's really a great time to be Californian, because there's a lot of really great programs going on.
So Lindsay, you talked about homes, right? Home ownership, right? That is the pathway to equity and, building wealth here in America. So we are working on a program with Senator Bob Hertzberg to see whether voters will vote for an initiative that will put essentially the state of California into the first time home buyer assistance program. A lot of folks that are struggling are not able to get a traditional first time home buyer assistance loan from their financial institutions because maybe their credit score is not good. Maybe they haven't, filed timely, and they get kicked out of the system. So this program will be more flexible, targeted to low income to moderate income working people. And we are hoping that we can assist more Californians to achieve their dream of home ownership. So look for that this November on the ballot. I hope it makes it. But my office is working really hard on trying to, get this on the ballot and pass it so that more people can afford to buy a home.
That's great. I actually did my assembly fellowship with then Speaker Hertzberg, so that's even more important to me. Small world. So let's talk a little bit about kind of the ins and outs. Sometimes people want to have a little bit more about like tax tips, like ready to go. And I think you've given a lot already. And I just want to highlight a couple of things for folks as they're thinking about where to get their taxes done, how to get their taxes done. And gosh, the overwhelming kind of sense that tax season brings to people. And we try to make it as easy as possible at United Way. We're really proud to be both a VITA certified, so the IRS certified site, as well as funded by the Franchise Tax Board through California to provide free taxes. But there are lots of other agencies also providing tax services if you're in a different area. And so if you want to find your tax provider, you can get more information at irs.gov to find free tax sites. The IRS is doing, I don't know that anyone ever wants to describe the IRS's job is incredible, but I really think that the IRS is doing an incredible job of trying to give as many resources to taxpayers as possible and really making tax prep free wherever it is possible for if you are income eligible. As you're getting ready to do your taxes, make sure that you're gathering all of the information related to your wages, interest income, anything about anyone who is in your household, who's you're claiming. You need social security numbers or I-10 numbers, as we said before. One of the important things about I-10 filers this year is that we have a specific target here in California where we're trying to get more folks I-10 numbers so that they can file their taxes. So there will be a lot of sites throughout the state who are specializing actually in helping people get those numbers. Also make sure that you bring any of those documents that the state or federal government has sent you about the tax credits that you may have received or other information that you have received. As much information that you can gather, the easier that it will be. If you're nervous about going to your first free tax prep appointment, we totally get it. We want to make you as comfortable as possible. I assure you, everyone that we and any other free tax prep site that's a VITA site is doing, they're IRS certified. So they've gone through courses and got training and are certified to do your taxes. If you're comfortable with it, you can also get your taxes done for free at myfreetaxes.org. That's also a really great resource. Or you can, and to get more information and to book your appointment, because we are on an appointment system, you can call 211. And that's going to be true just in about every jurisdiction, that if you call 211 and ask about free tax prep, they're going to be able to give you an answer and direct you where to go. So that's an easy way to do it. All you've got to do is dial 211. So that's kind of the information on how to book your appointment. If you want to do your taxes on your own and you want to use some of the alternate sites, please dial 211 and we can send you the information about those sites as well. So we've talked about taxes. We've even talked about wealth creation. We've talked about some of the great programs that are coming up in the state of California. Treasurer Ma, are there other things that you want to make sure that you share with our audience?
Yeah, so we set up a dedicated email if anybody needs any help or assistance, and that is askfiona@treasure.ca.gov. And I'm sure one of my team members will put that in the chat. But again, any questions, we really encourage you, if you're calling an agency, they're not picking up the phone, nobody's calling you back, you're trying to email someone, you can't, we have a person, Catherine Asprey, who does an amazing job. We have also done over 300 webinars over the last 2 years, trying to get the word out about federal, state, local, and even private sector opportunities. Many of them are now grant programs. So that means it is free money. It started out as loans, and people were a little bit skeptical because they were like, I don't know, what does that mean? How long do I have to pay it back? Is interest gonna, increase? And they were really skeptical about applying for the loans. And now many of them are grants. So we encourage you to stay in touch with our office. I put a lot of these webinars on my Twitter, and that is at Fiona Ma, and I try to keep it very professional. If you want to check out me and my dogs, go to my Facebook or Instagram, but Twitter, if you log on at Fiona Ma at Twitter, I'm always pumping out information on different grant opportunities that are coming up.
Great. That is wonderful information to share, and just want to encourage people that if we are going to be sharing this webinar, so we really encourage people to share it with your constituents or your neighbors so that they can get the information as well. The best advice I can give you is don't wait, don't procrastinate, get your documents all ready, get everything together, tell everyone call 211. If you have questions, you have our email addresses now. We will be responsive to any questions that you might have. We really encourage people to share this information because it really is a lot of times word of mouth that the information gets out. We have lots of flyers, so we're happy to also share flyers with folks and make sure that we can get the credits out to as many people as we possibly can. Do we have any questions from our team before we wrap up here? All right, it doesn't look like we have any specific questions right now. So Treasurer Ma, again, thank you for your leadership on this, and thank you for stewarding so many wonderful programs that are so necessary to take California into the future and really support the Californians that need it the most. Appreciate your leadership and appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, Lindsay. It's always great to see you. And thank you for all you do and all of your United Way affiliates. You guys do a great job. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Stay safe.